and I thought I'd never say this. I don't know. You're just never the same after that kind of abuse. I don't know. Warning: this podcast episode discusses sensitive topics, including mental health, abuse, and suicide. The content may be distressing or triggering for some listeners. If you or someone you know is struggling, please consider seeking support from a mental health professional or contacting a crisis helpline in your area. Listener discretion is advised. Welcome to the Heart to Mic podcast. I'm your host, Stephanie Cherono. Here we celebrate the power of authentic conversations, and together we'll explore our emotions, challenges, and growth through powerful storytelling.
Can you share what are the triggers that made you know you needed help this recent time?
I was very apathetic. And by apathetic is like no emotions. Even being in that space where I was, for a while it didn't bother me. I was like, okay, cool. Another day to Netflix and chill. We're cool. Another day to eat, the pizzas and the KFCs and whatnot. I was just like, I didn't care. I didn't care about posting. I didn't care about like showering on some days. I just didn't care. And to get to a point where sometimes I'd look at my phone ringing and I want to answer. But I don't, because I don't care. The things that made me happy stopped making me happy. And I think for me, when I stopped caring about the gym, is when I was like, okay, Chero, we might have a problem here. There might be a little bit of an issue here. But other than just the apathy, it's falling off my routine. It is a negative self-talk. It is the fact that everything just looks negative. Everything, from the way I look at myself from the shower, I'm like, you're so fat. But anyway, I ordered some KFC. But it's a sadness also that is there, because there's been seasons where I was just like crying myself to sleep. And then I'd wake up the next time like, okay, another day. Let's go. But if any of the things that I've mentioned are things that you are seeing or currently going through, then you may be needing some help. And help can look like therapy. Help can look like talking to someone and being able to find ways that you can tackle the thoughts that are going through your head. And for some people like myself, it might be medication. And again, that's okay. That's absolutely fine. It doesn't make you any less of a person. I mean, we've started a whole new venture under medication. We have made it work under medication. And just because I need to take my pills every morning before I start my day to be able to be myself, doesn't mean that I'm not allowed to exist in this space. And that means that, so for you, the same thing. It's like, you can still chase your dreams. You can still pursue the things that set your soul on fire and the visions that you have in your brain about your future and what the future looks like. You can still do it, even if you have or you're struggling with mental health issues.
5 years later, and you're back in therapy. How do you feel?
I think I remember leaving the hospital and I was like, oh, it's fine. We're good. And then I got home and I broke down and I called my mom and I'm like, I cannot believe we're here again. And I think what that was the stigma. That is what I was thinking about. I was like, what if someone knows that I'm on antidepressants and anti-anxiety pills? It felt like I let myself down as well from thinking or assuming that been in a space where I'd have gotten hold of my mental health by now and found something that works by now. But the reality of life is that, like, we always say healing is a never-ending journey, and it really, truly is. It's just a never-ending journey. And there are certain things that have triggered this season of depression that I may have already dealt with, but I'm now dealing with them in a different perspective. And one of the struggles that I had in that moment, and I think we had this conversation, was I believe in a God that heals. Why can't you heal this one? Why is this one hard for you? Why can't you make my heart at peace and my mind settle and the noise to calm down? Why do I need medication for it? And it took a while. I think it took about like 2-3 days for me to be in a space where I was like, okay, it's fine, you know. Even in this, God is here. And that's okay, you know. I think for a moment I had assumed that God left me and allowed me to go to this space. But God also put psychiatrists, therapists, all these people in those professions for a reason. They exist because He allows them to exist. But in reality, it took a toll on me. But now I'm finally in a space where I'm like, yes, it's fine. I am on antidepressants. It's okay. But you know, on top of that, I have very many other things that I'm good at that will supplement this. And for me to be in a space where I can actively use my gifts, my speech, my story, because of the fact that now I'm able to function, then it's a testament that the meds can work. That if you need them, you can get them. If you need therapy, you can get it. And you can get to a space where you can heal so that you perform at your optimum. Because I think the world deserves that. And you deserve that as well. And I deserve this. I deserve this. I've been starting this podcast since July last year, friend. It was about time. And just because I needed to get medication to be able to do it doesn't take away from the fact that I've made a milestone. I have taken this step and I have faced a fear. And this is a win in itself, you know. And I'm really, really proud of that.
Okay, we've come from being a tomboy. I want to know, how did you find yourself in the makeup space?
I started BBIT for 4 years. And then I just said, adios amigos, in my 4th year. And I said, I'm not doing this anymore. And started a whole new degree in marketing. And the tomboy phase ended because I was suspended and I was at home and I had my sister's things here and there. And I was like, let me try kidogo eyeshadow, eye pencil, eyeliner, ni. And before I knew it, the peace that came with just being in that space of makeup, it's like it silenced the noise. It's like when I was doing the makeup, the trauma, the daddy issues, the crying baby because my nephew was born at the time, all of those things were non-existent. And I was like, there's something here. There's something here. And I remember I told my mom, I want to pursue this. And I want to put a stop and a halt to my education so I can pursue this fully, which is now what led to MAC. And I worked at MAC for 4 years, from 2017 to 2018. And again, it's like God just speaks to you and tells you you're ready for the next step. And I quit. Then I became a freelance makeup artist, which led to content creation. And here we are. Podcaster.
What are you currently studying?
Oh, now I'm in my 2nd year, going to my 3rd of marketing. And I absolutely love the degree. Yeah. I'm having a blast. And I'm also doing it at my own pace when we're not rushing. It's just, we're cruising nicely. We're cruising nicely. And I couldn't be more grateful for the mother that I have for allowing me to be in a space where I can change my mind and I can change and I can grow. And now because I ended up being a content creator, I'm marketing for people. I'm marketing for brands. I was like, I need to understand what I am doing deeply. If I say I'm supporting a small business, what is a small business? And it's because I'm also doing a small business unit right now. So I'm using my degree. But yes, it feels more fulfilling. It feels more aligned.
How did you find God?
Oh, I think you've been trying to find me, girl. It's me. I was just like, chill, chill. I think once my mom relocated and there was a lot of quiet time, I felt instances where I was like, again, I think this is what conviction is like. It's like the Holy Spirit is just like, you need to get your life together and you cannot get your life together on your own. And I think for me, going through that transition where I was mommy's baby and everything that I wanted, I got it, to now mom is quite literally 1,000 miles away and I need to navigate this adulting seriously this time. Not the other one for 18 when I was thinking I was doing my thing. It's now, but I was like, how am I going to go through this life without God? It was impossible. And I think when I noticed that, oh, I want to practice celibacy, I want to stop drinking, I'm like, but who is in control of these things? I was like, it's God. So one day I said, let me go to church. And when I went to church, distinctively, I just had the voice of God saying, today is the day. And I gave my life to Christ on the 22nd of February 2023. And I don't think my life has ever been the same since that. Although I believe me and God have we have a working relationship whereby sometimes I'm just very stubborn and I'm like, I don't like this. But also today something very crazy happened. I woke up in the morning at like 3 a.m. No alarm, no nothing. And my mom says all the time, she's like, if you wake up at 3:12, between 12 and 3, you need to pray. And I prayed. And I said, God, the only reason why I'm doing this podcast is because I'm doing it for you, for your people. And if for sure this is something that you want me to do, I want to see a Ford Ranger, and not the orange Ford Ranger. I want to see a unique color of a Ford Ranger. Whenever you want to show me, but we are shooting at 9. So that's up to you. And I went to the gym, came back, I did a little bit of shopping. So, because the chef is around to cook for the crew and everyone. And I was leaving the supermarket and I saw her. Orange, but not orange, but like it's a combination of like an orange and a yellow Ford Ranger right next to my car. And while this guy is loading the things in the car, I'm like, yo, so this is happening for real. We are actually doing a podcast. You're confirming. I was not serious, but like now you're serious. So now we have to do this. So like the instance where I'm just like, I can feel the presence of God fully. And I think that concept is called like the password, where you're very specific in what you want God to show you. And what in regards to like you being either on the right path, if this is the right thing that you're doing, if like this is the right person for you, if you're present in my life, can you show up in this way or the other? And he did. And I was so shocked. And I think we will insert a picture here somewhere so that you can see the car. But I was like, you really want me to do this, eh? Sawa, I'll do it. And I'm still learning to be a Christian. And for me, being a Christian doesn't mean that what it was before. I think for me, Christianity looks like I had to be speaking in tongues. I don't know why I thought speaking in tongues had to happen. I was like, if I'm not speaking in tongues, am I really talking to you? But also I felt like as a Christian, I can never make a mistake. But the reality is, when you go to church, you don't go to church cleansed already. You go as dirty as you are, as filthy as you may be, to go find healing there. And I think God is still healing me from so many things. And I think this journey has been so beautiful. And I've shared glimpses here and there of it where I'm unapologetic about the fact that God has quite literally saved my life, and I attribute everything, plus this podcast, to him.
Okay, this idea came back in 2020. What took you so long to start the podcast?
Oh, initially I was supposed to start it with a friend, a former friend. Former friend. Well, I met an amazing woman, because I'm not going to take that away from her. I met an amazing woman last year. Actually, I had met her way before. She was my client, and we connected in such a different way. But I think as I was navigating this journey of spirituality, there are certain things that just now stopped aligning with our lifestyle as a unit. And I started learning how to set boundaries and saying no to things and being vocal about the things that I'm uncomfortable with. And that was just the end of our friendship. Like, I think the minute I said, I'm not happy with how this and this, the friendship ended. And it was a blessing in disguise, because I think I learned so much from her. But in the same breath, this would not have been here. I was heartbroken. Those ones who know. I was going through it during that time. I think it took me quite literally like maybe 3 weeks to get over it. And to this day, I still think about her, because I'm like, I hope she's okay. But I just know that we are not meant to be friends, at least not in this season of our lives. But the idea of starting a podcast came from the fact that we just kept on having so many conversations about life and the reality of life, not the glitz and the glam, the reality of life. And I found it so profound, because I was like, finally, we are having genuine, real conversations about life and like what it entails outside of social media, and the experiences that we have that have shaped us, and the experiences that we have that we may not want to experience again because we now want different for ourselves, etc. It was just very refreshing. And I think that is what stirred up the need to have the same conversations in my friendships outside of that, because I was like, let's connect in a deeper way. So shout out to her, man. Like, if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't be here. But again, friendship breakups are just a whole other topic altogether. So it's just a season of life that I was just like, and I think once that friendship ended, I disappeared also from YouTube for another year because I was just trying to navigate and find a way to come back. And I was like, okay, what is my purpose? What do you want me to do? What do you want me to use this platform for? And it was very clear that I needed to tell my story, and I needed to have certain conversations, but also with a listening ear of the public, and for young girls to be able to look at this type of content and be like, okay, I'm okay doing this, or I'm not okay doing this, or I can learn from this, and this is not okay. And I genuinely think that everything happens for reasons, and blessings are constantly flowing towards me. So even that was a blessing in disguise. And I have no regrets whatsoever.
Are you comfortable sharing about Bruce?
So, in 2020, a month before my birthday, I lost a friend to suicide. And it was a very difficult season of my life. Because I think the grief that comes with like illness or like an accident is different. But like when you know someone took their own life because they just couldn't take it anymore, knowing that you have been in spaces where you felt like you could have also taken your own life. Yeah, that was really tough. But it made me want to advocate for mental health even more, and to be the voice to the voiceless. But for me, how I viewed it was, it's sad that he couldn't fight back and he lost the battle, but I felt the need to fight my own and hold on to life for him, regardless of how difficult that season was. And I navigated grief in a very chaotic way. I was drinking, I was smoking, and I was even smoking in this house. My mom was just like, whatever Chero is going through seems like a lot. And I had to move out because my family couldn't take it anymore. I was very, very destructive at the time, and I just needed to grieve at my pace, because you'll always feel guilty as a friend. Why couldn't I pick it up? And considering we had seen him like a day before, or just hours before it happened, it changes you. It changes you. And may his soul rest in peace, and I miss him dearly, and I hope that whatever I'm doing, he looks down on me and is proud, because again, I'm telling my story for the purposes of people being able to continue fighting, you know? But he was such a funny dude. I miss him so much. But it was tough. It was tough to explain, even to like the mom, because the mom was in disbelief for such a long time. It was tough to explain. Even as friends, we were like, could we have done better? Is there anything we could have done to stop it? And we were a group of 4 friends. And after he passed, we have just never been the same. We don't even talk, because it changed us. It changed us completely. So few times when I sit down and I think about possibly taking my own life, he's the reason why I fight. I fight for him to know that I tried. And I tried my best, you know. And if you're watching this, Bruce, I'm doing this for you. Fully. You know. Because life has been quite something, you know. It's not always as glamorous as you think it is. And I think that led to also another shithole. Because I got into a very toxic relationship because of that. And this is now the relationship that changed me completely, because it ended up being abusive. And it happened once. And the day it happened is the day I left. But even that leaving was because I knew what abuse can do because of my experience. My mom and dad separated because of physical abuse. So for me, I had not recognized other forms of abuse. I just knew physical abuse is like, once it ficas there, that's it. But now when it happened to me, there was so much humiliation, because again, come on. How is it possible for me to be hit? I think I'd put myself in a place where I was like, I'm untouchable. That can never happen to me. But it did. And for a whole year, I was, again, 2021, destructive, a mess, a complete menace. Trying to navigate this thing. Trying to navigate court proceedings. Trying to navigate the legal aspect of it, trying to navigate the physical aspect, the mental aspect. But it was the birth of my fitness journey. Because as soon as we were done with all that, I went back into therapy, and like January 3rd, I was in the gym, 2023. 2022, that is. And I started pouring into myself, and it started showing. And with that came a lot of blessings, partnerships, friendships, losses, but I knew myself better because of these experiences. And I knew what my heart wanted, and I knew what my heart did not want. And I was able to stand on my ground with that.
Have you been in a relationship since then?
No. Damn. Hey. Relationship, friend. But we're working through it. We are working through it. I haven't been in a relationship since then for obvious reasons. Because I'm like, hey, how about I live in Are you serious? Oh, child. I think the thought of it, I'm just like, whoo, the sort of loving someone to that extent. It scares me, but also now I'm in a season where I'm like, if not now, then when? You know, like I'm willing to love. I'm open to loving. But only because I took the time away from the space of like relationships and the hula baloos that come with that. Yeah. But I'm open to it. And these days, I think, even with my friendships, I love louder than I've ever loved before. And I'm unashamed of it. And when it comes to romantic relationships, I'm able to communicate better. And if I'm not happy with something, I say it. And the space that I'm in right now, it's healthy.
What would you say was a defining moment for you?
I think even just the relocating of my mom had me adulting in a different way. And I think constantly I'm always thinking about, like, what would life look without her? Would I be able to survive? Would I be able to maintain the lifestyle that I have? Not that she pays for anything, but like, I live in her house. And if I get to a space where I want to live and like go live independently, do I have the tools to navigate a tumultuous time in a romantic relationship? Do I have the tools or like the faith to be able to pray through times that are difficult? And that's what led me to finding my own relationship with God and Jesus Christ, finding my own footing in regards to like what my routine looks like and my hobbies and like the things that make me happy and the things that set my soul and my heart on fire. And that's where the love of fitness came about, and the routines and like content. It all came from just being alone, but also being comfortable being alone. It was one of those things where I just never... The concept of just being by myself was just like crazy. So I was constantly just like, I need to be around people or I need to be outside. But I think in the last maybe 6 months, I have fallen in love with the solitude. It is an absolute bliss. Like I'm having the time of my life because I'm able to genuinely have conversations with myself and God and be in a space where I'm confident enough to know that I got myself, you know. I think I had put all that responsibility on my mom or on my friendships where I'm like, I need you to do this. I need you to approve of this. I need you to tell me if this is good. Is this content good? Let me know. Is this what good? Let me know. Now the confidence that I have is actually Godfidence, is because I have a man behind me that just constantly affirms me. And I wouldn't have gone through this journey of faith if I wasn't by myself. If I didn't have that season of just like, okay, what are we doing? And me taking myself to church and being like, okay, today's the day that I want to give my life to Christ, then I wouldn't be in this space because I wouldn't have the confidence innately to know that this is the path I want you to take, Stephanie. And regardless of the difficulties that you may face, is the difficulties that you face is because you're getting closer to where I want you to be, and the devil just doesn't want you to get there. And of course, he may attack you in different forms. And I think my mental health dipping was one of the attacks for me to walk out of this idea of starting podcasting. but we won the fight. And I know he's proud. I know God is proud. I know my late friend Bruce is proud. I know that many of you are proud to finally see this come to life. Yo, it's been a journey. Yeah, I'm happy that I'm finally getting to a space where I'm allowing myself to step into my purpose fully. And regardless of the things that I have gone through, I am still adding value to this earth. And I think my message would just be, don't think too much about it. Just do it. And if you can pray about it and get a confirmation and set a password and tell God, if I don't see an orange Marvin, Kefa behind the scenes is wearing an orange Marvin. But like, if I don't see that, then God, I'm not going to do it. He will speak to you. And Christianity is not a linear journey. You will fail, you will disappoint God, you will be doubtful of him, you'll find yourself in situations where you're just like, okay, so is this faith journey really doing it for me? Or is it deferring me from the friends that I used to have, the lifestyle I used to live, the type of mindset that I have, that now I'm accommodating something new? Am I being overly judgmental? But you're also very much aware of your flaws because they're made known to you. God will show you the things that you need to work on. And I know the things that I still need to work on. But guess what? I can still work on them as I get to know him. It's not a separate journey. We can do it concurrently. And I think as I figure that out, it makes it easier for me to extend grace to myself in moments when I'm not able to show up the way God would love for me to show up. And why? Because his love and his grace is everlasting. It just never ends. To know that I have a lifetime supply of love, grace, and peace just makes life worth living again. So I hope that this encourages you to do the same. And in the event that you are looking for a sign to start anything, then this is your sign.
What are you currently glowing through and growing through?
Oh, glow and grow. That was like my masterclass thing. That's crazy. We're in sync. What am I growing through? I'm growing through mental health stigma within myself. I'm growing through it. I am understanding the impact that it has, but I'm also very much aware of the stigma. In the same breath, I'm aware of my responsibility in the same, and the voice that I carry in this entire topic. So I'm growing through that, which is why I'm open to talking about the struggles that I face with my mental health. I'm glowing through my love. I think I'm finally loving unapologetically. Guys, with no boundaries at all. If I'm trying to see you, I'm pulling up. Yeah. If I want to buy you flowers, I'm buying you flowers. If I want to come and see you, I'm coming to see you. And I'm not looking at it as I'm going to do it because you're doing it for me. I'm doing it because I want to do it. And if that instigates a feeling where you want to do it for me in return, cool. But if it doesn't, cool. But if my heart says love this person, I'm going to love them. And I think seeing my friends, my family, my mom receive my love is so, so beautiful. And I think we should have more of that. Like, love yourself, love your neighbor as you love yourself type of thing. So I think because of the love I have for me, I'm able to radiate that into my relationships. Heart to Mic is basically a one-stop shop to anything that we all are feeling in our hearts that we're not able to speak about. And even with the conversations and the guests that I'll be bringing, it is not the conventional conversations of like your careers and whatnot. We are diving deep into our relationships and what makes us who we are, and our traumas, mental health, and how we're navigating all those things. It is salvation. It is Christianity. It is just life generally, but also it's the matters of the heart, for real. And whatever is in our hearts in that moment that we feel the need to share, we will share. And for me, I think the purpose of this is solely to demystify the fact that our lives are glamorous, because they're really not. They can be. They have the days when we are shining, yeah. Oh, there's money, I've been losing my mind. Yeah, there are times when we are shining. But to get to that point, there's a journey, and everyone has a journey. Everyone has a story to tell. And I want to just make sure that we tell the real stories and tell the stories of life as it is, and to speak of the things that are in our hearts, but in our hearts, but we're not courageous enough to speak about them. And I hope that the guests that I bring feel the safeness of this space for them to be able to open up to the same. But we did it, Joe. We did it, Joe. One thing that I want us to be able to be closing with is something that we are grateful for, because I'm big on gratitude. And I'm grateful for, number one, gift of life, but I'm also grateful for Karen Myro. I am genuinely so grateful for the season of our life that we are in together. I'm grateful for the closeness that we've been able to build. I'm grateful for the conversations that we are having. I'm grateful for the vulnerability that we've been able to unlock recently. And I can't wait for you guys to hear her story, because she's definitely coming on the Hat to Mike. But I think I'm experiencing friendship in a whole different level, tied to my relationship with God, with you. And I see God in our friendship all the time. And it makes me so happy to know that we can be able to talk about everything and anything in between, including the Lord Jesus Christ. Yeah. I cannot wait to see what the future holds for us as the Hatch to Mike pod. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, and follow us on all the podcast platforms. Those are things we say now. And we will see you in the next one. Mwah!